What's up, guys? So figured I'd make a quick video on how to set the dual sync distributor up if you're running one on a small block Mopar, or I guess it worked for anything else really. But basically just follow the instructions, pretty simple. I just walked through it real quick just in case anybody wants to see somebody do it or something. But basically what you'll do is, you can see in the instructions here, it says to go to your ignition parameters there, and then select custom, which I've already done, and then set all this, your crank sensor, digital following, and all that. You can see here on mine, basically just make your screen look like what's on the paper, and you don't see that too good on the camera, but anyway, so I got mine. You can push configure. You can see I got mine as a pulse fire crank sensor. That's what it's saying to do there. Digital following right there, you can see that's what that says, and ignition reference angles at 50 degrees. If you watch my previous video, you'll see that I did set my crank at 50 degrees. They have a little piece in here that shows you can see the balancer diameter. Mine was 7 inches, so I measured 3 1/16 from top dead center and basically lined it up with my TDC mark on my timing cover, and that's where it's sitting at the moment. And you do want to make sure too that your rotor is pointing at your #1 spark plug. That's how you know you're on the compression stroke, which mine was when I took the other distributor out. And I slid this one in and put it in the same way. I did have to rotate my gear a little bit, but I think as long as this is pointing towards the front, it'll be fine. And I do get my power on right now, so you can see my crank and cam LEDs are both lit up as it says they should do in the instructions. But yeah, so we'll just go through these real quick. Basically, you want your cam sensor to be set at single pulse and digital following as well. And then see on the output setup, you're going to be a little bit different. I'm using LS not injectors. I'm using LS coils. Therefore, my coil on plug setup's a little bit different. And the dwell time, I'm not real sure what to put on these injectors. I couldn't really get a straight answer, so I'm going to try it with 3.5 milliseconds. And we'll see how that works, but that's irrelevant to this. If you're doing some other system, they got all that information in here to kind of tell you where you should put certain things. Like if you're using a I think it was a CD box, I was talking about using the points output and setting it at 2 milliseconds for your dwell time. But yeah, so we've already got everything set up in the software here. So now what I should be able to do is just rotate the housing as it was saying on this next page. Yeah, let's see, it says clockwise rotor rotation. For engines that have rotor rotating clockwise, turn the housing until the rotor contacts point at the black crank position sensor. Both the cam and crank LED should be illuminated, which mine both are. Slowly turn the housing clockwise so the crank LED goes off. So that's what we'll do. You want to loosen your thing up here. Ow. Which mine's a little bit loose, but you kind of want to leave it a little bit snug. Okay, see mine stop there. Let me go back to our instructions. And it'll say crank sensor went off, cam LED, we're over here. Turn the housing counterclockwise till the crank LED comes back on. Stop at this point. This will position the distributor close to where it needs to be. Install and snug the distributor cap clamp down at this point. Okay, so I guess that's all you gotta do. It's kind of hard to grab with one hand. But we'll just slowly rotate it till that LED comes back on. There it is. And now we'll just snug it down. And that should be it. Yeah. Yep, I believe that's all we gotta do. So, pretty simple, guys. Hopefully that helps somebody. I was also going to mention too, throw in this video, if you're using some sensors from some off-brand, you're not using Holley sensors, you can, most of the time they'll send you something like this. I'm using sensors from Low Dollar Motorsport. They are pressure sensors, but they'll send you something here, like you see, it's like at half a volt, it's 0 psi, or and so on until you get to 4.5 volts, and it's a reference to voltage so that the ECU can know how much pressure to display and to monitor. Basically, it's just converting a voltage number into a psi number or temperature number or whatever. But to do that, it's pretty simple. You just go to your sensors. As you can see, just like for example, I'm using a custom 3-bar map sensor. This one here is a pressure sensor gauge or layout for how to set that up. Also, I bought the 3-bar map sensor and it came with this side here. It tells you 3-bar, basically at half a volt, 0 kilopascals, or negative 14.5 psi, whichever you're using. And it basically goes down the same list up in 20s pretty much the whole way till you get to 4.5 volts. But you just set it up the same way. I just went in here and my map sensor, I set it from 0 to 300 on the kilopascals, which as you can see here, this one's at 0 and then 300, and then on the bottom, if you can see, if I can scroll, there we go. It's got sensor voltage. Basically, I just input the numbers that it gave me on that piece of paper and just put the numbers as they correlate on the graph. So it's pretty simple. That's if you're doing a custom calibration or whatever. But if you bought one from Holley, then you can just go in here and click Holley 3-bar or whatever, and it'll work. But for me, I'm using the custom 3-bar because this is not a Holley sensor. This is a Low Dollar Motorsport sensor. And essentially do the same thing with the oil pressure and fuel pressure. Them are actually both identical, so I pretty much just copy this whole top bar and then copy the bottom bar, and then just the numbers lined up right anyway. But it's pretty simple. There's not a lot to it really. Just want to make sure that's right though, because if it's not, then you're going to get false readings on all your stuff. So that's kind of important. But anyways, I'm going to lock down this distributor and we should be good to go on syncing distributor up. So this thing should be okay to fire. I'm not going to do that in this video, but in the next video, hopefully we'll be firing this thing up. I might do some other videos before then about the fuel system and all that, but I just wanted to get this knocked out and I figured I'd film it while I'm doing it. Not a very exciting video, I know, but maybe it'll help somebody in the future. So anyways, be sure to like and subscribe and stick around and see what's next. We'll have some more videos coming at you, and see y'all later.